Hey friends, welcome to Be Again Books. I'm Kathleen, and today we're making something chunky and fabulous. Giant cluster journaling cards that I will use as gorgeous pocket stuffers. So why giant ones? You know how much I love clusters, and I think I'm always looking for unique things to put in the pockets of my journals. So these are a fun way to use up larger paper scraps, which I always have in my stash. And today I'm going to layer them like a cluster with smaller bits of paper and a focal point to kind of bring it all together. So if you want to play along, you'll want to dig into your stash and grab some lined or blank paper scraps for your base, and then gather smaller bits like labels, book page pieces, fabric scraps, whatever you've got. And don't forget a glue stick or a stapler and your favorite focal points like flower stickers, portraits, little flower images, vintage labels, that kind of thing. Let me show you what these look like. So I've got several, because once you kind of start ripping up the papers, you end up with more and smaller scraps. So it's an easy way to do a mass make, and this is kind of what it is. But I pay attention purposefully, first of all, with the bases, to find those that are blank, that can be journaled on the back, because that's the point of it. So I ended up with 4 of these, kind of all sort of similar, certainly in tone and mood. So these will just go in my stash. And then this is the way that I would use it. So this is just a naked journal right now. It's a steampunk theme, but I've identified a pocket back here that would make a cute, this would just slide here. You know, it can go in another pocket, like a patch pocket, something like that, but it could also just clip right in there. And that would make a fun page. And then just slide that out, journal on the back, and slide it back in. So I think these are really kind of fun, and I want to show you how to do them. So the first thing you do is to kind of pick your base pages, and as I say, it can be anything really in your scraps, but something that has like a blank back that can be journaled on. This is just some scraps from a paper sack. This, I thought I could do the cluster on the front, and then this can even flip out on the back. That would be cute. These are just book pages that are blank on the back. Yeah. And then I have a bunch of these that I have harvested from Reader's Digest books, but they have this woman has her name on many of them, and but it's pretty on the back. And this would be great. Sometimes I even need, a large kind of pocket stuffer to go behind some of my corner tucks. So this would be great because I get the benefit of this pretty colored paper, and then I can just kind of cover that up. So yeah, don't overlook bigger ones. So as I say, we're making giant clusters today. All right, then secondly, you need to kind of decide if you want torn edges or cut edges, if you want, the shape. I tend to kind of want rectangular because that's what kind of fits nicely into a pocket, but you can certainly make other choices and do it however you wish. But what you do need is a base, like I say, This has it's vintage lined paper, and that will make a perfect base. And then let me move this up here for now, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But just to kind of continue what I have done with these three. So this is just smaller pieces, and you know, I would say 3 to 5 pieces besides the base. So here I've got 4, and I want this on the back. So the base goes down first, and then you just start layering the pages and kind of making an arrangement however you want. I think we'll make it so that he, you know, picks out. And then as you're arranging, one of the things you need to do is have one edge be the straight edge. So if these two are not straight, then this one needs to be straight. So I'm going to line it up here so that I know that that's straight. Or I could make this one still crooked, but make this piece straight. Do you see what I'm saying? At some point, somewhere on your design, it needs to have a straight line. And that's just because our brains want to orient to something that is straight. I really like things wonky and crooked, but somewhere it needs to be straight. So I think that we will make the foundation straight, because that will go easier in the pocket, and then just make these other things a little wonky. Maybe that one will also be straight. And then the focal point, which is this stamp or sticker. Okay, so one of the tips that I'm going to give you is to use a stapler once you get things kind of arranged, and then staple that together. And then so that you don't have this big bump on the back where that staple is, then you want to take some pliers and just smash those bumps down, and then that makes it flat there. All right, we'll put, and then you can glue it. So we'll straighten that back up again, and then put that down. Put this sticker on. So another tip that I want to give you as you layer your pieces is to look for balance, texture, and contrast. So this is a little bit white, right? It's very neutral. So this piece would benefit from a little bit of color just to keep it from being so neutral. So I could use this piece on this to cover that up and then add color into the mix. But this is kind of big, right at the moment, so I'm going to trim that down just a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, I've trimmed that down and I'm going to round the corners. So now I'm going to glue this onto here. Okay, because this is now a smaller cluster on this larger paper, then I'm going to line this one up. And then this can be wonky again. And now, because this is a large, giant cluster, then I think we need another, maybe another final focal point. Here's a little Tim Holtz rose, and I think we'll just add that here to the side to kind of balance out. I don't want it to look too small. So because this not only is it red, and red has a lot of weight, but it's also larger than the other pieces, and so I need something that comes off large in order to kind of make it balanced. You can also do some texture because that will add some weight to the design. But I think that will work. I think that now feels balanced to me. It's got contrast now between the light colored papers and this dark red. And the texture is there because of little things like that. Corner punch. Yeah. We could do even some crinkling. If we did some crinkling, that would also add some texture, even if it is flattened again. You can see some shadows and dimension, and so that creates some texture. Okay, there's a big one to add to the pile. Okay, so let me give you a couple more tips. Sometimes, let's just choose this as our base. Sometimes you can work in groups of 3. So you can take your papers and put them together ahead of time, kind of in groups of 3. I do this often with my little clusters as well. It just kind of helps it come together in the end. So, you know, we could then take this group, put it on the background, add a focal point, and then that comes together really nicely. I would put this together with some texture across the top. I could, you know, put some thread through there. That would give texture along with this piece. There's contrast between these colors and the white. So that would be nice. Let's do the flip out one. So I think to do this one, it would be fun maybe to put this on. And then here's another tip. Somewhere, if you have all rectangular shapes, that's going to seem kind of boring. So you always need to have something in the design that is rounded or curvy lines. So if you've got all straight lines, you need something that has curvy lines. So you can put something like that on, or something like that. I kind of like that, actually. Let's do that. Sometimes you can work also just in groups of 2, because when you put 2 onto another design, I kind of like that too. That makes 5. So 3, 5, 7. Those odd numbers are always really good in designs. I kind of like that. Let's see what else we've got as a little focal point. Yeah, I think. All right, let's glue these down. So I think that we will make the straight edge this back, just because it's a natural fold. So yeah, we'll do that. And then I kind of liked that. And we'll put the 20 also at right angles so that that's going to be soothing. And then I think I want this one. You don't want to get too much texture going. You want to keep these really flat so that they'll slide in pockets and things don't catch and cause problems. I like that. Let's also just put a stamp here. On the back. Yeah, I like it. That'll just slide down into a pocket. All right, let's finish this off. We'll use, this is our writing place, and this is just another little bundle of scraps. We'll use this straight edge. Use some double-sided tape for this vellum element. Let me line that up again. There we go. There we go. Let's put another little stamp there. Since this is a floral on the front, we'll put this little stamp here on the back. Like it. So again, these make great pocket stuffers, journaling spots, and even a big tuck spot. You can write on the back, you can leave them blank, whatever, however you want to use them. There's all kinds of different ways. Let's just go through what we made today one more time. So I like this one. Here's this one. I'll put some thread through there before I put it in a journal. Plenty of room to journal on the back. This one's fun because it has this little flip for even more space. And then here's the large one. I think these are really cute. If you make some of these jumbo cluster cards, I'd love to see them. Tag me, please, and I'll come by and celebrate with you. If you're enjoying these stash busting projects, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for spending time with me. I will see you again with a new project.